Hi everyone, welcome to another Indian Trails program. Today we're going to be going over LastPass, which is a password manager. LastPass is absolutely fantastic. I use it for everything, all of my personal passwords, and then even for everything that I use for work as well. So what's really great about LastPass is that helps me not have to remember every single one of my passwords. I have passwords for everything, and they always encourage you to have different passwords instead of one password. So for all of my social media and for my emails, I have different passwords, and that's impossible for me to keep up with. And I don't really want to keep them written down because sometimes they have to change. So what's really great is that LastPass stores all of that for me, and all I need to remember is my one master password. So I know that this sounds really daunting. However, once you get it set up, which I'm going to show you how to do that today, it's fairly easy and it really helps you keep track of your passwords. And then it also just helps you store everything going forward. So even when you create a brand new account with something, it'll ask you, do you want to save this password in LastPass? And absolutely, I do. So I'll go ahead and get started. So how you get started is you go to lastpass.com and then you'd have to go ahead and begin. So I'm going to go ahead, let's see if this get. So if you already do not have an account, this is where you would create an account. You put in an email that you use the most, and then this is where you're going to create your master password. And so when it comes to a master password, you want it to be strong, something that you won't forget, but also something that is personal to you, and something that you will remember. So whenever I like to make passwords, I like to make it as strong as possible. I will use dollar signs for S's. I'll use at signs for A's. I'll use exclamation points for I's. And then I'll put in a bunch of letters in between. Always have a capital letter in there. So I'll go ahead and do an example. So I'll make it Indian Trails. So I'll do an exclamation point for an I, a capital N, and then I'll type in Indian. Then let's go ahead, I'll do capital T, R, an at sign for A, I, L, S. And so this does look really confusing. And so maybe this is something that you would want to write down or store in your phone just in case you don't forget. And then I'll go ahead and put in a couple numbers. I'll put in 355. Um, and then you see that this is all filled in green. And so you know that it is a strong password. And so I didn't put in my email here. So that's why I have a little explanation point here. But as long as all of these are checked off, then you know that you are good to go. And so then if you also want to know what makes a strong password, you can go ahead and click right here. And then here it gives a very similar password to what I have, is where it has a mix of numbers, lowercase and uppercase letters. So I do actually already have a login. So I'm going to go ahead and press login. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you what one LastPass looks like with it being absolutely filled with a bunch of passwords. Okay, I just put in my master password. Then it's going to go ahead and log me in. And so what you see over here is everything that is stored for my usernames and my passwords. So what's really great is that you see it gives you your username. And then when you go ahead and log in, You can go ahead right over here with this toolbar, and then you'll be able to see the URL here. What is this? You can create folders, and then here's where I have your username, and then here's going to be your password. So that's how all of them look when you are inside your LastPass vault. So you can have it categorized. I have categorized for social, shopping, all of my library stuff, my finances are all in here. And I know that for some people that would make you feel very uncomfortable. Putting all of this information in one thing. But that is why that you make your master password something very secure. And so something that's going to be really hard to get into. So there are websites to see how secure is your password. Let's see. So I'm going to go to howsecureismypassword.net. And here I'm going to go ahead and I'll put in the password that I put in for Indian Trails earlier. So here's where you go ahead and enter it in. So I put in that Indian Trails 355 with all of the different special characters in it and the numbers, and it's going to take someone 15 billion years to go ahead and get into that password. If I were to just type in Indian Trails 355, which was before, without any of that stuff, it's still going to take someone 100,000 years to be able to hack that password. Some people, hopefully it doesn't happen anymore, but when I do know people have used the word password as their password, and that will be instant for someone to be able to get. If you have your name and maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it will still take someone about 1 day to be able to get that. So you want to have a password that is very strong. If you have something that takes up to like 100 plus years, you got a pretty good password. But the stronger that you can make it, that is something that you can remember is absolutely crucial, is the most important thing. And definitely my professional and personal advice is to be able to have something that is strong and rememberable. So if you go ahead, and I have another account that I created for this purpose, that is absolutely fresh with nothing in it yet. And this is why it is important to remember your master password, friends. There we go. Okay, so I must have just typed in a wrong letter. You know, sometimes if you have big fingers or if you're just typing too fast, that happens. So this, you can see here, there's nothing in my vault here to see. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and go to Pandora, because that's not something that I already have in my LastPass account, but I do have a login for that. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in. Okay, so I have LastPass in my computer downloaded as an application, which is, if you are using a personal computer, this is definitely something that I recommend. And this is one of the best features that it offers, so that you are able to continue storing all of your passwords. So what you can see over here is the in this section where it says add to LastPass ? And then it will say pandora.com, and then it has your username, and then you can go ahead and just say add. And that way, whenever you go ahead and create a new account with anything, or it'll already store your stuff. So I'll go ahead and I'm going to sign out of here now. And then you will be able to see what it looks like. So it automatically populates your username and password whenever you log in. So I'm just going to go ahead and X out, and then we're going to start right on over again. I'm going to go to pandora.com, and then you can see immediately it is going to populate my email and password. And it's going to do that with absolutely everything. Um, and it's really great and super helpful, and it just saves you a bunch of time. So, what are other great things that you can do with LastPass? Go ahead and log back in. Or if you do have it downloaded into your computer, you can go right over to the shortcut, and you can go and it can say open my vault. You can see what are your recently used ones that you're trying to go in. You can see all of your items. So I'm just going to go ahead to open my vault. And then you can go ahead and see all the stuff here. And I'm just going to go ahead and minimize all of this. And then you can see over here, it has some more settings. So here it'll have all of your passwords that you can go ahead and see, any notes you have, any addresses, any payment cards or bank accounts that you have in there. So I don't use that. I don't have all that information in there. Here's, a security dashboard that is actually really good, and it does show you, you know, how many passwords of yours are at risk to being found. And so a lot of mine are the same. And so then it says right here, I have 43 at-risk passwords, and then maybe I should go ahead and look at that. And then you can go ahead and view passwords, and those are the ones that maybe I should change. Um, and then there's some dark web monitoring. Don't use any of this personally. All I use is this stuff right here. I love it. It helps me organize everything. I recently just put them all in folders. That way it's easier for me to access and to see, what's going on. And then over here is you're able to get to the account settings, the support center, and then logging out. So this is LastPass, and it is one of my most favorite applications. Unfortunately, now, if you want to have it on multiple devices, if you want to have it on your laptop, on your tablet, on your phone, then you do need to pay. I think it's like $3 or $4 a month. There is a family plan. So if you do have multiple people in your family that uses it, you're able to do that. But if you really are only going to use it on one device, then it's absolutely free.